Want to pick up on a few things that Darren Dreger said in his interview with us today, mostly with regards to Connor Garland. Because you remember a few weeks ago when that name was first brought up, and it was brought up on Hockey Night in Kent. Was it Elliot who brought it up?
Yeah, I think so.
We were all sort of like, where's this coming from? He just got here. He's a young player. He just signed an extension. Well, let's remember, he is a player that the old regime brought in. He is a player that the old regime extended. And I can understand how a young player who gets traded from, let's face it, a market that is entirely dissimilar from Vancouver in Arizona may have some concern and some consternation about yet another move here before even his first season in Vancouver is complete. I mean, the poor guy caught COVID too, south of the line, and had to go isolate in his new house in the New England and the Boston area. Let me just throw this at you. You tell me if you're picking up what I'm putting down. Rutherford has seemingly backed away a little bit from having to trade core players. Couple of interviews, the one with Daily Faceoff this week, the one with Shannon and Bob McCowan. Is it possible he's come to the conclusion JT Miller is indispensable, but Connor Garland is a guy I can move out to recoup some cap space going forward?
It's possible. At 25, maybe he's more tradable than a JT Miller in terms of getting more teams involved, because a building team might be interested in a guy like Connor Garland rather than just a contender.
Because the other thing that's at play here, and look, I don't think this is going to dissuade everybody. There's just no way. But JT Miller does have a little bit of a reputation around the National Hockey League. In his younger days, it was not the hardest worker. And more recently, it's bit of a loose cannon, Popovsky, not necessarily a toe-the-line type of player, can be a little bit of a locker room lawyer, if you will. Just you're bringing in a strong, fiery personality. And there will be some coaches and general managers who will think twice before bringing that sort of personality into the room, even though the player, as everybody knows, can help anybody out. Yeah. Magnificent player.
I've heard that floated recently, and I think it's poppycock, honest to God. If Evander King garners more than one team, garners any interest in the National Hockey League and coming back, my goodness.
But that was on the minimum salary, Blake.
No, but
and you're not giving up assets for him. No, so it's apples to eggs.
No, but it's also his fifth strike. What happened after strike 4 and after strike 3 and after strike 2?
It's funny when the salary's $750 as opposed to 7 point something. It's
but again, we're also talking about strike 5 though. So no, there's going to be interest in this player, and also all we have seen from this player in a Vancouver Canucks uniform is he fiery? Sure. Last I checked, coaches love fire. Even if it needs to be tamed and reined, put reins on, they're okay with that. They want to see fire. What they don't like is guys that have no fire. And if he ever had that reputation before, and certainly Alain Vigneault made some, remarks that made it seem like that was maybe the case. God, hasn't he put that to rest?
I think he's put that to rest. I think
that's not a guy that's not trying out there.
What I don't think he's put to rest is he was at the center of the Canucks COVID outbreak last year.
At the center of it in what sense?
Well, he was one of the first players to get COVID in the NHL.
Yeah.
And then later in the season when the Canucks COVID outbreak,
he appealed for the greater good of the team as a leader.
And if you're a player, that's fantastic. If you're an owner, GM, or a coach, you wonder.
Oh, I don't know about that. He's going to bat for his team.
He took on the hockey establishment. He took on the league office. He took on his own owner. He took on the GM. He took on a power structure, Blake, that, as you know, in this sport gets noted.
Matt, with all due respect to the previous administration, do you think they have the respect of the rest of the National Hockey League in terms of being true leaders? I think the rest of the league saw JT Miller taking on an inept management group and saying, get your bleep together.
And if it was just the management group, I could I hear you.
The general
but
manager,
it went further than that.
Yeah, but the general
it
manager
went up to the owner's level. It went up to the
general
league
manager of
office
Team
level.
X around the league doesn't give two craps about how JT Miller treated the Aquilinis.
GMs typically want players who fall in line. And that's all I'm saying is that
I disagree with that. I disagree with that. GMs want players that fall in line? No, they want leaders. They want guys that will say, on my back, let's go this way. That's what they want. They don't want fall in line guys. You kidding me?
You don't think GMs and coaches want players who fall in line and
No.
don't rock the boat?
No, I think they want leaders. I think they want people that are strong-willed.
This is the NHL we're talking about, right? Hockey?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. And beaking off.
What have we long said about tall poppies and guys just stick out in the and make a fuss in the NHL?
Yeah, that's a little bit different than what we just saw. That's
okay.
He
All I'm
was showing
saying
leadership.
is one of the things that I've heard is that JT Miller is not going to be every team's cup of tea. The player, absolutely. Everybody wants the player. The personality is one where teams are doing their digging.
If we're going on long-held adages, haven't we long held that in professional sport, as long as you help your team win, a general manager is going to be interested in you?
And that's fair. Mm-hmm.
JT Miller does that in spades, far more than Evander Kane ever will.
Just saying, as teams go through their research and pinpoint JT Miller, some are going to be more comfortable than others. Some will be willing to meet the price. Some are going to stop at a price tag because of the personality.
I think, will there be a team that says, no, I'm not interested because I heard blah, blah, blah? Yep, there might be one. But I still think if that's what your takeaway from JT Miller is, that he's this, that, and the other, then your scouts haven't been doing their homework. There's not a single person in Vancouver, I don't think, fan or media, that would say, no, he's not worth it. Don't acquire that guy.
Oh, is he worth the money he's making? Absolutely.
Right.
It's a fantastic contract.
So that's what this league is ultimately about.
Given the level he's playing at right now. Fantastic.
So, but that's all that we're talking about here, Matt. Can he help you win a cup? Yes or no? And I think 99% of the teams out there will go by that metric rather than, I heard he's a little bit opinionated. If that's the metric that dissuades you from a trade, you're in the wrong business. I don't think there's many NHL teams that are going to let that move them.